In this video, we're going to put a little test file on our server to make sure that we have everything working okay. Now, the first thing you want to do is go to an application called FileZilla. It's located at filezilla-project.org, and the link will be up with this video. What FileZilla is it's a software that allows you to upload files to the server. Now, eventually, when we get in this class, you won't need to use this at all. You'll be using VS Code or an editor. But for just getting us started, we're going to go ahead and use this for right now. It's completely free, and it's a very simple download. So you come over here and you click Download FileZilla Client right there. And then you want to, if you're on a Windows machine, be Windows 64-bit. If you're on a Mac, just come down here to More Download Options. You have a little X right there. Just click that. I'm going to go ahead and download FileZilla Client. And again, it's a free application, so just click this first one right here. Don't worry about the manual, and do not click on Pro because they're going to charge you for it. So just come down here, go to Download. And what will happen is this screen will pop up, and you can just basically close it. And once it downloads, it's going to go ahead and it'll go in your Downloads folder. So you can see it's right here in my Downloads folder right here. Now you can see that it says FileZilla Sponsored Setup. Now I want to walk you through this to show you what you have to be careful of, or you're going to be downloading other software that you don't want. Okay, so if I double click on this, it's going to go ahead and start to download. Now the first one, just click I agree. That's perfectly fine. It's going to take a few seconds to load the data up. And then you can click, I just use a default. Anyone who uses this computer, it's just my own computer, so it's fine. And then of course the default for here, and then the default destination folder is fine. And then of course this right here is also fine. Okay. Now this one is the one you got to be careful of. You do not want this. This has nothing to do with FileZilla. This is something that they do. This is how they make money. So they try to get tricky into doing this. Click decline right there. Okay. And that way you won't be getting anything like that. And then you can start FileZilla. And it actually is right here. Now, the way FileZilla works is this side over here is everything on our client machine, and this side over here is everything that's on our server. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to log into that in just a second. But first, I want to take you over to Blackboard. And we come here, and inside of Blackboard, we have an area called Setting Up DigitalOcean and GitHub. And right here, we have Test File for DigitalOcean Setup. You want to make sure to click that, and it will download that into your Downloads folder as well. And I just did that, and so now you can see that I have it in my Downloads folder. Now what I want to do is I actually want to uncompress that. This is known as zip files compressed. We don't want to do that. Just right click and extract all and extract. Or whatever protocol you have for undoing zip files. This is something you should know how to do. And then this is the folder that we want. And you can put this folder wherever you want. I've already done this once, and I've got this folder now sitting in my desktop. It's sitting right here. Actually, I got the zip copy sitting there too, but this is the folder I'm going to be using. So I just want to show you where it's at. So if we go back over to FileZilla and we take a look at it, the first thing we need to do for our host is we need to put in the IP address for our server. So I'm putting in mine that I'm using for my test. Right there. The username is always going to be root. The password is going to be that password that we initially set up. Remember I said make sure you remember it. Port will always be 22. And when you do Quick Connect like this, you may get this little prompt right here. Just click OK. That's perfectly fine. And you're going to get it to automatically go to root. That's because we signed in as root. And that's fine. Don't worry about that. So what you want to do is you go up here where it says remote site. And here's what you want to type in. You want to type in var/www/html/enter. And when you do that, it's going to take you into that var www.html, and there's that index folder. Now, if you remember from our PowerShell, I'll come back over here. That is the same place I went to right here. Okay, so if I do my ls, you can see there's the index page right there. This location here and this location here are the same location. we're just seeing it on two different interfaces. One's through PowerShell, one's through FileZilla. Now, the reason we're not doing this through PowerShell, we could use a command line to do it, but it's a little bit difficult to try to explain how you would find your local folder and things like that. So I just thought this would be a little bit easier way to do it. So remember, this is everything on the local computer. This is everything on the server. And what you want to do is, for some of you, you might end up having it go all the way back to like a users folder, and then you look for where mine's a number, but yours is probably your name, and you just want to basically go to wherever you put that folder. Okay, I put mine on my desktop. It's called PHP MySQL Test. It's right here. Wherever you put that extracted folder, that's where you want to go. Now, to put it onto the server, all you do is just take it and drag it over like this. It takes a few seconds, and then you can see it's right there. Okay. Now, you don't have to do this part. I'm just going to do it to verify it. I'm going to go here. I'll do ls, and then there's the folder right there. Okay. So that is how we get the folder over onto the server. Now what we have to do is we have to go into our server and actually do a very quick install for the database. Very simple to do. Okay, so we're going to go into doing that. So we can go ahead and we've uploaded it, so we can close FileZilla. And now we're going to go back into PowerShell here, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to exit out of here just to show you how to do this again. So I'm going to log out of here. I'm going to clear my screen, and I'm just going to show you again. It's SSH root at your IP address. And then it's going to ask you for the password. So you put in the password. Notice it does not show me type in the password because that's a security issue. It's a security thing that Linux does. Click that, and then I'm there. Okay. So now what I want to do is I need to go into that folder again because I got to do something with MySQL. So I go cd/var/www/html. And then the test folder, I think, was PHP MySQL Test. It's right here. All right, so I want to go into there. And then I hit ls to show what's inside of it. And you can see I have this little SQL file. It's probably kind of hard to see. It's in a darker blue on this machine, but it's called SQL, SQL. Okay, and it's a little folder. So I want to go ls SQL. And you can see inside of there, I have a create SQL file. So you need to make sure you get yourself into this place right here. So let me not do ls. Let me show you how to get into it. cd SQL. There. Now I'm actually in the SQL folder. Okay. And then if I go ls, you can see there's my create SQL file. Now I know this seems a little confusing, but it really isn't that bad. So what we need to do is we need to install that onto MySQL. So what we're going to do is we go MySQL, user is root. We'll put in our password, do this, and we write create.sql, just like that, and hit enter. And then you're just going to want to know our password. Okay, now it should have just taken that file right there and create our database for us. So all we got to do is just check to make sure that our database is there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to log into MySQL by going root p, all right, and then we hit enter. Put in our password again, and here's our MySQL shell. And then we're going to go show databases, and we take a look at this, and look at that, PHP MySQL Test. It's right there. So that shows us that, oh, the database got installed. So let's just take one check further. We're going to have use PHP MySQL Test. That means we're going to be using that database. And then we can do show tables. And there's just one table in there called customers, so that looks good. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just do a simple select query, select star from customers. Now, whoops. Now, all these things that I'm doing right now, oh, it doesn't like my backspace key. Okay. are just to check things out, and there's the information. Okay, if you don't want to log, if you log into this thing and you see PHP MySQL test right here, you don't need to do the rest of the stuff. Okay, I'm just showing you what it does. All right, and then we just exit there, and that's it. So what we've done is we installed that into our database, and we have this. Here, let's just go back. And we have this little PHP MySQL test folder right here. Okay, so let's go to a browser window, which is right here. And we're going to put in our IP address again, 167.71.89.136. And then I'm going to do PHP MySQL test like that. And if I get this right here, everything's working perfectly. That's it. Now we know that we have our database set up correctly, we have our server set up correctly, and we're not going to have any issues the rest of the semester with anything as long as you don't change anything. Okay, so if you get this, you're good.